Secondly, you have to become organized. Anyone who has accomplished anything consistently and maintained it is because they would have had a clear plan as to how they're going to execute it. Now, I can simply say this to you. I identified a number of things in my life that I needed to change, but my list was so long that it was scary. So I had to simplify the process. All I did, and you can decide on your own model, I decided on one thing per month. So every month, I would decide on one thing that I personally need to work on. And I would set basic things that I needed to do. So if it was a health matter, and I said to myself, because my doctor once told me that slim does not mean healthy. So not because I'm thin, it does not mean I'm healthy. And I needed to incorporate exercise. Now, I struggle with exercising. Why? Because I think I look good, right? All right. So can you imagine if you already think you look good, and then most people exercise to look good, then there is no real motivation to wanting to exercise. But I know by not doing the exercise, by not changing that lifestyle, I'm setting up myself for failure in the end, because I may eventually become sick. So what is going to happen when I'm sick and sexy? Not a good combination. Right. So that is what I say when I say have a plan. Know exactly what it is that you're going to do and when. Set your own timetable. Some of us learn quickly. Some of us take a longer time in order to get something. If you know you're a slow learner, don't say you're going to do something in a day. You're setting yourself up to fail. If you know you need a month, give yourself a month. If you need 2 months, give yourself 2 months. But know what it is that you need to do. I'm sorry. Then you have to make sure that you have means of assessing yourself. If it is that you're working on something, you need to know, am I making the right progress? Am I getting it done properly? Just like in our business, like for example, we will keep our model week for argument's sake, or we'll keep a schedule of our appointments. And at the end of the month, we'll say if we needed to do 5 appointments per week, because of the record keeping, you're able to say how successful you were at doing or keeping your appointments. If it is that you're going to be working on your life, you have to have a similar model. There has to be some measure that you're working with. You have to have some measure to determine if it is that you're achieving what it is that you need to achieve. My husband always said to me, you need to measure what you expect. Inspect what you expect out of life. Because if there's no method of assessing it, you may find that you're doing the work, but you're not getting the result that you desire because you're not assessing where you are from time to time. So that's another recommendation. Measure what you expect. And the sixth point is to celebrate. Why I say celebrate is that many times in life we achieve the things that we set out to achieve, but it just goes by the way. One of the things I do to motivate myself, I will give myself specific targets in various areas of my life, but before giving myself those targets, I will tell myself, Meila, if you do this, you get this. Do you understand what I mean? So for example, let's say I want a fancy shoes, which is very petty, but let's say I want a fancy shoes. I will say to myself, if you allow yourself to build a relationship, for example, I know it sounds petty, please don't get me wrong, you need to spend more time with your sister, for argument's sake. And if it is that you decide, for the month of June, I need to spend at least 6 hours with my sister. At the end of the month, if you accomplish that, you get to go and buy a shoe. It sounds petty, and I'm saying to you, you can decide what your reward is. I just happen to like shoes. But whatever it is that you're working on, just to make yourself a little bit motivated to continue to do it, just give yourself a reward at the end of the day. So I'm going to go recap because the last point is something I want to just make sure we focus on. Assess your life as it is now. Define your all, what it is that it looks like to you. Make a conscious decision to change. Then you're going to get organized. Determine your schedule to work on that plan. Make the time to reassess where you are to ensure that you're making the progress that you desire. And celebrate your accomplishments as you go along. But this point is one that I'm going to leave with you, the seventh one, which I believe is one of the things that helps me the most to stay on track, which is to pass it forward. Each time I find myself with an opportunity to share with a colleague what it is that I'm working on, or to share with a friend or a family member to help them to get on track, it helps me to stay motivated. So if it is that you're working on your journey, it's always good to be pulling somebody else along. When it is that you're pulling somebody else along, you get better results because you get this sense of true responsibility that you don't want to fail because somebody's looking on you and you have just told them that this is an amazing thing to do. So how can you now afford to fail at something? Anyone who mentors knows this. If you're a mentor and you have a mentee, you automatically start to do even better because now you have someone who is saying, but this is the person I'm looking to. This is the person who I'm expecting to succeed. It's the same way in every area of your life. If it is you're working on your relationships, if you can have an accountable partner, anything you're doing, you can take somebody along with you on the journey. And when you're taking somebody along on the journey, you become a little bit more motivated and you stay the course. So I know that somebody might have come here today expecting some big grand idea, but I'm happy you came because what it really does tell us is that all that we need, we already know. All that we need to be happy, we already have. The problem is we get so distracted and focusing on so many things that are not necessary for us to be who we really are in life that we have to come to these things for someone like me to remind you. But the truth is, it's okay, because if it is that you get a reminder and you do something about it, it was worth coming. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you go back and you're in the same routine where you're having arguments with your wife because you're not coming home for dinner, or your child is upset with you because you missed an important game, or you have not called someone you loved in months, it means that you would have wasted your time coming here today. What I'm saying to you is, I'm not expecting any magic. It's not about magic. It's about making the conscious decision that we are going to do the things that are important. It's about making the conscious decision knowing that we will all die at some point, that we would have lived a life that we can be proud of and we'll have no regrets. It doesn't mean that life is going to be easy. You and I know that that's not the way it is. We will have our challenges, but we can make our experience on this earth so much easier if we figure out who we are, what is important to us, and ensure that our energy and our efforts are being focused on achieving those things. And you will find that by doing that, everything thrives. When you are in a fulfilled space, your relationships are magical, your productivity is amazing, and your life becomes so much more rewarding and enjoyable. It doesn't mean that you're not going to become sick. It doesn't mean that challenges won't come. But it means that you will take it on a journey that is yours and you can be proud of. Right? So I thank you so much for listening to me. And I know I have a few more minutes wherein I can engage you if you have any questions. I will have to repeat the questions for the recording purpose. But is there any questions for me? All right. Are we good? All right. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I wish everyone an amazing rest of the MDRT experience. All right? Go have your all. Thank you.